Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 13 in season number 7 of the NOFSRL Turkey Hill Truck Series. We are here at the Rockingham Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina for the Food Lion 200. 50 laps of action around this 1.017 mile speedway. And this championship battle is very interesting because while Stacey Stickler still has the points lead, she really isn't the clear-cut favorite because pretty much everyone behind her is right on her heels in this championship, including the guy who will be starting on the pole here today, second in points, Christopher Alfveby, with a good shot at taking the points lead at the end of the day. Join alongside Matt Tuck for the call of today's event. And only 5 races remain before we crown a champion at Homestead in the middle of January. And Christopher Alfveby with a huge opportunity here today, possibly taking the points lead. What does he have to do to maintain that pole position and come atop the points at the end of today's event?
Well, obviously, as we saw in the Food Lion 400 a couple weeks ago, you got to stay out front, and you got to stay up there in the end of the day, make your pit stops count, and don't beat yourself, especially this late in the championship hunt. That's definitely probably the number one key is execute your race and don't let yourself hinder your way from having a successful day here today.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see how it all goes down. It's a relatively easy track to keep track position, but it's also a track where you make a mistake, that's it. Your shots at having a good run are out the window. We got a few guys up here who have great chances in this championship, including, of course, we mentioned Christopher Alfveby, but Fisher G, who comes in this race 6 in points, didn't have the best of runs at Texas World. We all know what happened in that race when he ended Stuart Gretton's hopes and dreams in that event, but he starts in the 5th position here today, and he's only 30 points behind our points leader, Stacey Stickler. The rest of the guys involved in this championship battle include Colton Yo, who is 14 points behind. Joe Rutkowski is 20 points behind. Zachary Fitzwater only 28 points behind. Agar Barreto 32 points behind there. Sebastian Kukulon 35 points behind. All of those drivers have a mathematical chance at taking the points lead in this race. 8 guys within one race, with 5 races left to go in the season. And it's going to be very interesting to see which one of those guys, if it is any of those guys, could be somebody else in the points here. If Bartow happens to win another race here, he could shoot up in the points again. And he's won this race in the Truck Series twice before. So watch out for Bartow there, starting in the 4th position. Either way, ready to get this one started here from Rockingham Speedway. Christopher Alfveby on the pole position in the number 22 alongside him. Braden Perez in the number 97. We got Ashland Boyd there in the number 44 alongside our last winner, Trey Bartow, won that wild race at Texas World on Thursday. Fisher G, defending champion, still trying to get that first win since season 4. He starts there in the 5th position alongside Scott Upton, Chase Buck, Isaac Nichols, Audra Baranowskis, and Stuart Gratton. Rounding out the top 10 starting positions here from the Rockingham Speedway. Alfveby coming into this race with a huge opportunity, 11 points behind Stacey Stickler. Our points leader, Stacey Stickler, starts deeper in the field around the 15th, 17th position right there, so we'll have to see what she can do in regards to Christopher Alfveby. Make sure everyone's rolling off here, and they are. And Matt, who do you think is going to go to victory lane here today in the Food Lion 200 at Rockingham?
Obviously, as we've seen here a bunch, you have to start up front in the first couple rows to have a real shot of winning this race. I'm going to say Fisher G, the defending champion, is going to break his long winless drought here in this series, and I think he's going to go to victory lane today.
We're going to have to see what Fisher G can do there as an owner-driver in this series. Pace Truck's going to pull down. Only 5 races remain, and we are here at the Rock. Christopher Alfveby, Braden Perez going to lead us to the green flag, and we're racing at the Rockingham Speedway. Christopher Alfveby going to get a bonus point towards the championship for leading lap number 1. Fuel window, about 40 laps here today. So if we have a long green flag run, it'll take us near the end of the race before we get that cycle of pit stops. But on the flip side, tire wear is very significant here at Rockingham. Once we get to the end of a tire run, it is a 2-second fall-off here around this mile-long racetrack. Trey Barger did a great job there at the start of that race, moving down to the 3rd position. And Chase Bucks also moving his way through the field. He's going to go and take 3rd away from Bartow here in lap 3.
Buck, the Nazareth winner, already moving his way up through the field. See Bartow sliding back a little bit there, but still early in the race. And obviously all these drivers are chasing down the points leader, Stacey Stickler. So anybody in the championship hunt who can finish ahead of that 91 truck, that's a good day there. Oh, that 0 is Scott Upton. He got really slow. They're going to be
yeah, he's got some damage there. Number 0, I think, hit the outside wall. He's going to hit it again, and around he goes down the backstretch. Eli Bright, Colton Yo also caught up, and a stack up down Thunder Alley here at Rockingham. That's Agar Barreto in the 54 with heavy damage. Came into this race 7th in points. Colton Yo came in 3rd in points, and he's all torn up as well. And that all was triggered from Scott Upton having an incident off of turn 4 the lap prior. Christopher Alfveby wins the race back to the line. I don't think we're going to see these guys come down the pit lane right here. It's a 40-lap fuel window, like I said. And under this caution, it may stretch it enough to the point where they may be able to make it the whole way through, especially if we get another caution. The pit road is open, and none of the leaders are coming down the pit lane, so they will stay out here under this yellow flag. But a tough break there for Agar Barreto. That's 2 in a row for Eli Bright, who was caught up in an accident at Texas World. And Scott Upton also caught up in that one as well. Those guys got the worst of this one here in the Food Lion 200 at Rockingham.
It's a tough break early on in the going to have that happen. And obviously, a lot of good trucks taken out there too. Eli Bright, Fitzy. But Alfveby held pat on the initial start. Nobody got by him, so he's going to be looking strong for this restart coming up here in a couple minutes.
He is, but before we get to that restart, let's see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here in the Food Lion 200 at Rockingham. 3rd in points, Colton Yo caught up with Agar Barreto, Eli Bright, and Scott Upton down the backstretch. This is what happened here. Scott Upton had already jammed the field up after he hit the outside wall for turn number 4. We saw the damage he had, and then he did it again off of turn 2. So did Zachary Fitzwater. Both of those guys got way up in the marbles and smashed that outside wall, and Eli Bright had nowhere to go. Neither did Fitzy. He got Dale Lightning in the 67 with nowhere to go, and then Colton Yo took a hard hit there on Eli Bright, and that 83 also went to the inside wall as well. And then Agar Barreto gets hit from the 83 as he comes back up. It's a narrow backstretch here at the Rockingham Speedway. There's not much room for these guys to avoid an accident if it occurs. Andrew Williams got a piece of that one right there. Lewis Ankala and Dale Lightning got into it just a little bit. And Keegan Thompson in the back of the field also got spun around too. But the guys who got the worst of this one right there, Eli Bright, Agar Barreto, and Colton Yo. Alexander got spun around, but no major damage on the 77, and the 0 Scott Upton should be able to continue as well, even though he spun around and hit the wall twice. But that's 2 in a row for Eli Bright. He got caught up in an accident at Texas World last week. I actually forgot that Scott Upton ran right into Eli Bright right there. That might actually take Scott Upton out of the race, because that was a hard hit there to the side of the number 8. Tough break for a lot of those guys in the back of the field, especially Colton Yo and Agar Barreto, who are both top 10 in points coming into this race. Gonna have to see how that affects them in the championship once we get this one done here today. But first, let's go ahead and see what happened real time here at the Rockingham Speedway.
So you watch Scott Upton hit the wall there. He made contact. That's the 14 of Keegan Thompson, I believe. And then he just, no, they're not Thompson, my bad, but then he just stuck it high there and just pounded it into the wall again. Came right into the back corner paddle of Logan Williams and clobbered out a whole bunch of trucks. Colton Yo's got a couple wins. Agar Barreto, who was up there in the points. Eli Bright did a double whammy in that purple and teal Taco Bell truck. Triple whammy Scott Upton finishing him off with the Wendy's truck. Battle of the food chains here of who can suck the most. But A tough break for all those guys there, especially Eli Bright getting walloped around there, but it's going to be Alfveby, the leader here when we get this restarted. Going to be interesting, though, to see how a lot of those guys, they still need to get some points out of this for some of those guys if they want to keep the championship hunt.
Yeah, I don't think these two guys are going to be out there anymore, though. They got a lot of smoke trailing both of their trucks. Actually, it may have just been Colton Yo, but still a lot of damage on Barretto, and I can't see him getting a good amount of points here today as well. So Alfveby still leading this field. Stacey Stickler still midway through the field, but Stickler still has the opportunity at holding Alfveby at bay in the championship at the end of this race, even if Alfveby goes flag to flag. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. Alfveby, your race leader. Let's get to the restart here in the Food Lion 200 at Rockingham. We're back here at the Rockingham Speedway Food Lion 200 action here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. And after today, only 2 more races remain in 2020 on AG Racing here on Napa Fan. Got the Christmas Eve 500 coming up, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas night at 6 p.m. Actually, it might be 7 p.m., one of the two. We got Armory Digital for these guys in the Intuit QuickBooks 200, but right now we got Rockingham. Christopher Alfveby continuing to lead this field with Ashland Boyd, Chase Buck, about Trey Bartow, 2-time winner here in the trucks at Rockingham, and Braden Perez. That is the top 5. Coming to the restart on lap 9 of 50, and Alfveby looking to get the jump, and he will, off of Ashland Boyd.
Braden Perez got, I don't know if he has a problem. He got very wide in that start. Oh, almost. Oh, he made contact with the wall a little bit there. He's going to lose a lot of time in that 97 truck. See as he hopefully settles back down so we don't have another wreck here, but Alfveby jumping out here. He's got that 44 truck. He's chasing him down, the 44 of Ashland Boyd. See back here also in the back of the pack, 51 of Audrey Baranowskis, who had a great run at Watkins Glen earlier this season. A lot of drivers just trying to make those gains quickly on the restarts here, as you always want to do. Great passing opportunities.
Yeah, and with the tire wear coming into play later on, if we get a long green flag run, you want to make the passes when you have those fresh tires. Now's the opportunity to do so. Top 3 all on each other right here. Ashland Boyd may get around this 22 of Alfveby, but Chase Buck might have something else to say about that right there. Number 35 moving to the inside for second, and he's going to take that position away. A bold move there for Chase Buck, looking for his 2nd win of the season, and he's going to get enough of a run on Alfveby here as they enter turn number 1. Chase Buck to the inside for the race lead, and new race leader here in the Food Lion 200. It's my dad, Chase Buck, taking it away on lap 12.
Yeah, your dad out here, Chase Buck, looking real strong, looking for his 2nd win of the season. And I don't remember where he's at in points, but he's had a great season given he didn't race the whole year. 51 of Audrey Baranowskis looking to the inside of Ashland Boyd. Now trying to go for the double pass on Alfveby. Not going to get there, but it's going to be interesting to see. We saw in the Food Lion 400 a couple weeks ago, you could make the passes and then a couple laps after the restart. But once the trucks get spread out on a long run.
Oh, and Baranowskis just blew up. Had a top 5 run going for her, and that is more than likely going to be the end of her day. She's going to come down the pit lane, and that is Stacey Stickler's teammate right there. So if you're Stickler, do you have anything to worry about? Because Stickler's in a position right now where she can manage that, point gap. She's going to lose ground the way they're currently running, but she's going to still be right there. But if she falls to the back of the field for this race, she's going to lose the points lead by a lot. Do you think Stickler is going to be worried at all, knowing that her teammate just blew up here at Rockingham?
I wouldn't worry too much. Usually, we've seen, doesn't usually have the correlation that it would say in real life with the engines they're blowing up there. So, wouldn't worry about it yet. Be more worried about, losing track position at drivers you're racing in the championships, such as, Christopher Alfveby, Fisher G, all those drivers. That's what would be more focused on for now, because if you spend too much time trying to limp your engine home, you could end up costing yourself a double whammy. So
yeah, she's currently running in the 12th position right there, so a pretty good run. She is currently would be 1 point behind Christopher Alfveby in the championship the way they're currently running, because Alfveby did get a bonus point for leading a lap right there. So definitely a tight one between Alfveby and Stickler, and they've essentially been the 2 guys this entire season in this championship battle. But all these other guys are right behind them, like Rutkowski, like Fitzwater. We got 3 wide, and Isaac Nichols is not letting these guys get away with anything. Went 3 wide there on Brandon Nelson and Landon Smith Jr. Now Silas Orta, who's coming off the pit lane, coming out in front of these guys. Nelson now 3 wide on the outside here in the 57 machine. He's going to hit the outside wall. Not exactly the good day he had when we came here in the Body Armor Cup Series 2 weeks ago. So, Nelson not finding that Rockingham magic that he saw in that Food Lion 400 race here today. Chase Buck is continuing to lead this field. And before Baranowskis blew up, I was going to mention, Chase Buck is ahead of 6 guys who have raced in every race so far this season in points. And Buck has only raced in 7 events this season. This is his 8th event of the season. And if he were to win this race here today, he would probably jump a few more guys who have raced in every event this season. So Chase Buck, you know, if he actually ran the full season, probably would be up there in the points, contending for the championship. But he's got one guy behind him who's doing that, battling him for this race lead. And Alfveby looking to the inside on Chase Buck. He's right on the back bumper of the 35 machine. Ashland Boyd's still here as well. I bet a dark horse for this race victory. He could have a shot at getting to these top 2 here in the next few laps.
Yeah, we're going to watch. You got a whole bunch of drivers moving up there. Trace Smith is still lingering around there. You got Fisher G's crawling his way to the front. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, what I didn't catch, I didn't catch see what Silas Orta came into pit for. Do we know how many laps down does he sit?
He is currently 2 laps down, so that seems to be that it was a normal pit stop. And if it was in fact a normal pit stop, he will be able to make it to the end of the race without having to come back down again. So that could get a little interesting. Ashland Boyd on the outside of Christopher Alfveby, looking to take this position away. Alfveby lost a lot of ground there to Chase Buck. And Boyd may actually get this pass done, but Alfveby going to hold that inside pretty strong right there. And Trey Smith going to move to the inside as well. Keep in mind, Silas Orta has fresh tires, and he's going to be going a little bit faster than these guys here. So, yeah, any of these guys might be the smart idea to let Orta by you, instead of trying to waste your tires by battling him, of course. Then again, if this stays green, there is a chance that he could have a shot at this race victory. We almost saw that last time out at Texas World with Alexander Rowe. We may see that here today at Rockingham with Silas Orta. Fisher G, Trey Smith, they all stay in their respective positions, and now that the tire wear is starting to come into play here, these guys are having a little bit more difficulty making moves for position on the racetrack. Got Isaac Nichols, Eric Monaco, Trey Bartow, Landon Smith Jr., and Braden Perez inside the top 5. Grattan there is currently 11th. Stacey Stickler has fallen back. She got stuck in the outside lane, and she's now all the way down to 20th in the 91 machine.
Yeah, that's a lot of spots to be losing, especially this as we cross the halfway point of this race here coming up. That is a lot of spots to be losing for that 91 truck. You can't afford to lose too many more of those, or it's going to come back to hurt you in a couple races from now as the finale for the season draws in closer and closer. So that 91 team's got to be careful here, especially with pit stops coming up.
Silas Orta cutting through the field here. This could be an opportunity for Christopher Alfveby. Alfveby has already let Orta by, and more likely than not, Orta's going to get around Chase Buck right here. That could open the door for Alfveby to close in on the 35. And these top 3 pretty much right back on each other here. And then the top 5 have a 1.5 second gap on the rest of the field right now. So they're all in a league of their own, as Ashland Boyd moves right to the inside of Alfveby for second. So Ashland Boyd looking very strong in the 44 machine here. He may have a very good chance at getting around Chase Buck for this race victory. And I think the thing is, this is where things can get really interesting, because you may actually want to be a guy who comes in a little bit later, have that slightly fresher tire near the end of the run. Of course, once we have that cycle of pit stops, we're only going to have 8 or 9 laps left to go on this race. But you may want to be one of the later ones who come down. Maybe. But at the same time, if you come in early, you do get that advantage on the guys out who are out on those older tires. You're going to gain 2 seconds on them every lap. So more likely than not, you want to be one of the first guys to come down the pit lane when the cycle begins. But we may see someone stay out and still gain an advantage. We're just going to have to see how that all plays out. It'll get very interesting once we get that cycle to come in here in the next few laps. But Chase Buck holding on to this race lead. Ashland Boyd now second. Alfveby down to third with Trey Smith, Fisher G, Isaac Nichols, Landon Smith Jr., Eric Monaco, Trey Bartow, and Braden Perez, with Stuart Grattan just outside the top 10 in the number 21. Here comes Trey Smith looking to the inside of Alfveby, but he's not going to have a run, and Alfveby will remain in the podium position.
Alfveby looking holding strong there in that 22 truck. But this 44, Ashlyn Boyd, been trying to outside a whole bunch here. We've seen that 44 going top to bottom. Not making the top side work for the passes, but is gaining a lot and is closed in a ton to the back end of Chase Buck here. Oh, are they slowing down? I thought they had a caution there for a moment.
Yeah, that's how much the tire wear is here at Rockingham. They're going to look like they're going slow, but the tire wear really comes into effect, and these guys going much slower now than they were at the start of this race. And Boyd tried to work that outside lane, and he lost a lot of ground there on the 35 through that corner, but he's going to try to regain it back here through 1 and 2. He seems to be pretty strong through 1 and 2 right here. We'll have to see if he can find any way around Chase Buck before the cycle begins. Meanwhile, we got these guys. They're closing in on Fisher G right here. Nichols, Landon Smith Jr., Eric Monaco. They're a lot closer to the back bumper of that 25 than they were a few laps ago, so watch out for them. You know, if one of those guys does the undercut, they could have a shot at possibly stealing this race win away from Chase Buck in the 35. We'll just have to see how it all goes down. Only 2 different leaders so far in this race, Chase Buck and Christopher Alfveby. And I have a feeling we might end up with a couple more before the end of the event here today at Rockingham.
Yeah, we're going to see how this goes here. We got under 20 laps to go now, so it is definitely, it's going to be dicey time here. And you got to wonder, too, you know, somebody, given how slow these guys are going, somebody should consider doing the undercut and pitting early, because if you pit in, we saw at Watkins Glen, Brock Nelson made a pit stop earlier than Alexander Rowe and Dusty Davis, and he ended up winning the race. He had about a 3.5 second gap when the pit stop cycled out, so somebody should definitely consider, the idea of pitting early here. Get in that undercut. That would allow you to jump that time. You know, if you're sitting there, if you're Stacey Stickler or, say, Ethan Lewis, some of these guys in the middle of the pack here, and you want to close that gap, and an undercut would be a way to do that.
Yeah, Stickler down the 19th right now, so the way they currently run, Christopher Alfveby would take the points lead heading into Armory Digital on Christmas night. Now, keep in mind, Armory Digital is a super speedway, and it's the last super speedway of the season, but those super speedway races are always wild cards, just kind of like Texas World's a wild card. It acts like a super speedway for us here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, but Armory Digital, a wild card race, no doubt about it, and I think if you're any of these guys battling for this championship, you want to be the points leader going into that event in case something goes wrong there at Armory Digital. And keep in mind, too, that's only a 20-lap race at Armory Digital on Christmas night. It's a short race out there in the Pacific Northwest, so just kind of see how it all goes down on Christmas night, but we're looking forward to that one for the Intuit QuickBooks 200. And then New Year's Day, quite literally on New Year's Day, right when the clock strikes, or maybe a little bit after, to let the New Year's Eve or the New Year's Day 500 run on Trey Wright's channel. Definitely recommend go check that out. We're going to have the Homestead event, the first of 2 Homestead events this season. We're going to go to Las Vegas the weekend after New Year's, and then we're going to go back to Homestead for the finale in the middle of January. Then the weekend after that, on the Discord only, like I mentioned many times before, we got sign-ups for the NOFSRL Cup Series, Turkey Hill National Series, and then the weekend after that, it's preseason Thunder testing. And then the weekend after that, it's the Meliola Smooth Fest. So we got something for you every weekend here on AG Racing up until we begin the 2021 season, and we're looking forward to that here, as I believe we may have had a couple guys come down the pit lane, and we did. Cycle beginning here at Rockingham. And Fisher G, now this is very interesting because Fisher G is one of those guys who is going to gain regardless. He did the undercut right there in this, guys, and he may now have a very good chance at winning this race by coming in a lap before these other drivers. And Stickler is also one of those drivers down the pit lane as well. We'll have to see what she can gain here on this cycle. There's Chase Buck in the 35. This could be a little interesting with Eric Monaco coming off the pit lane and Chase Buck coming in. Ashlyn Boyd is down the pit lane here as well. Trey Bartow just now coming down. And Chase Buck going to come into the pit lane cleanly. There goes Stickler. She's done with her pit stop. And already off the pit lane is the 25 of Fisher G. So we'll have to see what an advantage he may gain on this field. If he gains an advantage, it is possible that Chase Buck could end up with the advantage by coming down a lap later. We'll just have to see how it all goes down. Meanwhile, like we mentioned, Silas Orta is good to go to the end of this race. He came down probably around lap 18, And more likely than not, he should be able to make it to the end of the race. Now, at this point, however, all those guys who just came off the pit lane are going to be much faster than him. So we'll have to see where he cycles out at the end of this pit cycle. I believe everyone has come down the pit lane at this point. There's Alfveby. He was one of the last ones to come down. Not sure how that's going to fare out for Alfveby, but he may not get this point heading in the Armory Digital if he happens to lose a lot of ground. There goes Chase Buck. Buck was able to beat off Fisher G, but Fisher G might be coming strong here in the number 25. But that number 35 looks to me like he's going to be the new race leader. Nope, it will be Silas Orta.
Oh, here we go.
It has cycled through to the number 73 of Silas Orta, with Chase Buck 3 seconds behind. But keep in mind, Chase Buck has the fresh tires, and he's going to be much faster than the 73. But will the 73 have enough time to hold him off?
Oh.
He's got 10 laps to do it, and he just lost a lot of time right there. And not only that, Chase Buck's going to have to deal with Fisher G in the 25 because he's coming fast as well. So it's Orta, Buck, and Fisher G, the top three, with 9 laps to go here in the Food Lion 200. And Silas Orta lost a second and a half that last lap. There is no way he's going to hold off Chase Buck here for this win.
No, there's not a single chance he's going to... Oh, Chase Buck just sending it into the corner. At this point, if you're Orta, you might want to just come down and get 2 tires so you don't sacrifice too much time. But Chase Buck has to be careful here because this 25 truck of Fisher G is also flying, isn't losing any time to him. It's going to be close. Here they come.
Fisher gained a ton of ground on the 35 because Chase Buck got stuck behind Orta there for a while, and Fisher G was able to fly right by the 73. So now it's between Chase Buck and Fisher G. And if Fisher G wins this race, he's going to throw his hat right into the championship. But even if he doesn't win, if he gets the second place finish, that is going to be huge. He may very well jump to second or third in the points if he can pull it off. Meanwhile, Alfveby fell back quite a bit. He's down in 9th. Stacey Stickler, on the other hand, not too far behind him. So the way they currently run, Stickler would hold on to the points lead heading in the Armory Digital on Christmas night. Stickler in 13th, Alfveby now in 12th, and Stickler right on his back bumper. Didn't think this was going to happen, but what we're seeing right now, right there, the top 2 drivers in points running each other, and that's good news for Stickler, looking to hold on to that points lead heading in to Armory Digital. And Fisher G all over the back bumper of Chase Buck, who's held up right now by Alexander Rowe. This may be the opportunity Fisher G needs. Buck's going to move to the inside with 5 laps to go now here at Rockingham. Fisher G's right here. Will he find a way around this 35 for the race win?
Oh, he's going to have... This is going to be a great opportunity. Oh, is he going to look to the outside? That is going to be dangerous if he tries that. Nothing going there. I just don't know if he's got enough room to make this pass happen. That 77 that kind of opened the door for him may also be holding him up here, but he's sticking right in the toe of that 35 truck. He's looking to that outside. I think he wants to try it there, but you're going to have to... He's probably going to have to move this 35. And he's going to have to be careful, too, because that 44 truck, Ashland Boyd, just closed right up to the back bumper. Not quite all the way up, but that 44 is coming quickly.
Yeah, Fisher G lost a lot of time right there, and once Chase Buck got around Alexander Rowe, it looks like he might drive home 3 with this one. 3 laps to go in the Food Lion 200 for Chase Buck in the 35. You got Eric Monaco, Trey Smith, Isaac Nichols, Trey Bartos, Stuart Gratton, Landon Smith Jr., and Jesse Turner rounding out the top 10. Great to see Turner with a solid run here at the Rockingham Speedway. And Fisher lost a lot of time that last lap around, and that may have just sealed it right there. 2 laps to go here in the Food Lion 200 for Chase Buck. Looking for a second win of the season, and only his 8th start of the season here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series Season 7.
He has just been on fire here. 2 wins and 8, looking like 2 wins and 8 starts here. You know, what could have been for that team had he been behind the wheel of that truck to start the season off. Got to be kicking themselves there. He's shown he would have been a legit championship contender, but one more time around here for him to secure the victory.
We're just going to have to see if Buck wins this. That'd be 2 wins on mile-long racetracks. Of course, the 2 mile-long racetracks he's going to get these wins are completely different from one another. But Chase Buck looks like he's definitely one of the best drivers in this series. And he's going to show it right here today in the Food Lion 200. Chase Buck's going to win in his home state at the Rockingham Speedway. Chase Buck, your winner in the Food Lion 200 with Fisher G in second. Regardless, that is a great opportunity for Fisher G in this championship. Ashland Boyd, Trey Smith, Eric Monaco, the top 5. Another great run for Trey Bartow. And Alfveby will gain 2 points on Stacey Stickler. He led a lap earlier on in the race, so he gets a bonus point for that, and it finished 1 position ahead. So it's only going to be 9 points behind, heading into Armory Digital between Alfveby and Stickler. But Fisher G is going to be up there a little bit closer as well, as he gained about 10 points on Stacey Stickler. And that's going to put him 20 points behind, heading into Armory Digital. So we got the defending champion and a rookie, and a relatively long, I mean, he hasn't been around too long, but he's been around a while. Christopher Alfveby right there, all looking to battle for this championship, and he may end up with some other guys who end up in this battle as well. But Chase Buck, who didn't even start the season off, he's only been in 8 races so far, goes back to victory lane. He's the 3rd driver of the season to win multiple races, joining Trey Bartow and Colton Yo. And Derek Hamill with, yet again, another owner win on NapaFan. How about that for that Gonium Racing team? Ashland Boy finishing 3rd, Trey Smith, Eric Monaco, Isaac Nichols, Trey Bartow, Stuart Gretton, Landon Smith Jr., and Jesse Turner, the top 10, with Alfveby and Stickler 11th and 12th. We had that one accident that occurred at the beginning of the event right there. And he got Scott up in there in 32nd out of the race. He had an issue, apparently, near the end. But Baranowskis, we saw what happened to her. Eli Bright, Barretto, and Colton Yo out of the accident. And Alex Monroe finished a lap down. Again, he was caught up in that one. And Silas Orta, we thought he might have a shot at winning this race. Fell all the way back to 27th right there. But there was really nothing he can do when he had that issue midway through that green flag run. But either way, very interesting race here at Rockingham, and what are you looking forward to on Christmas night at Armory Digital with 20 laps with all these guys on the racetrack battling for all those points?
Well, it's gonna be a desperation shootout there at Armory Digital. You're gonna have a lot of guys who, you know, this could be their last ditch to have a shot at this championship. So it's gonna be exciting. We'll have to see how it plays out at Armory Digital. You know, it's always, especially, I don't know if it's gonna be the updated rules regulations for Armory Digital, but it is always exciting anytime we travel up there, and given what's on the line, I do not expect that to change.
Yeah, and you mentioned the new rules and regulations. We will be taking those restrictor plates out for Armory Digital for the first time ever, so that is also going to make it a very interesting race on Christmas night, either 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern Time, here on AG Racing. And don't forget, Christmas Eve 500, our joint special event with the NIRA, going to be 6 p.m. Eastern Time here on AG Racing, and hopefully on the NIRA channel as well. We can get that transferred over to his channel as well. But it'll definitely be here on AG Racing, no doubt about it, for you all to enjoy on Christmas Eve. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and congratulations to Chase Buck on getting the race victory here at Rockingham. Here are the points for the Turkey Hill Truck Series after 13 races. Only 4 races remain in the season. Who will be the champion come mid-January here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series? We're just going to have to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of Matt Tuck, congratulations to Chase Buck once again, and I will see you guys later.